I'm not the only person going over into the Studio 5 kitchen every commercial break to sample that syrup.
You're the one who goes the most often, but not the only one.
I won't argue there, but it is so good. You put Becky Lowe's vanilla bean, is that what it's called? Vanilla bean syrup in your recipe file and try it out this weekend. You won't regret it, I promise.
Yeah, make your pancakes for Saturday or Sunday morning. You got the new favorite with it.
It's so good. All right, a great topic right now that affects every family. Grandparents, they are the head of the family, they are the heart of the family, but oftentimes instead of being in the middle of the family, it's easy for them to feel on the outside.
So at the Sunday dinner table or at the crazy loud family reunion, how do you pull grandma and grandpa into the whole conversation? Relationship coach Matt Townsend says it is all about creating space.
So, well, first you have to invite them.
That's step
They got to be there.
If you don't invite them, that's a problem. But have you ever noticed that it's always kind of about the young people, and it's about what the young people are doing in their lives. So we talk about their college, their job, their promotion, and kind of the seniors just sit on the side and just take it all in. I guess they're basking in the glory of it. The problem is we need to hear from them. We've only got so much time anyway. We need to start hearing from these people, and we're going to talk about 5 conversations we need to have, but we need to have the space. The space means we have a place for them, and we put them in the prime place. We put them in the place where all the communication is going on.
Physically, you're putting them in the place.
Physically, we're putting them in the place, and we're giving them the time to actually speak. A lot of times what happens is when they speak, they may not process as fast as the younger bucks do, but their data is even more relevant. So they might process slower with more relevant data. So what we want to do is give them enough time that there's a space for them to talk, and even ask the question to them, and then wait and let them actually bring out the answer.
So you can't be afraid of that silence.
No, silence is golden, especially in the golden years. And so we want to give them that space. We also want to give them attention. We want to get the kids in there and make sure the kids are actually giving them the space in the kids' heads, so that the ideas can sink in. So when we're talking to our grandparents and great-grandparents, make sure the kids are paying attention. Did you hear what Grandpa just talked about? He just talked about how he played baseball just like you do. And then maybe help them draw the connections, okay? So once they have the space, there's 5 conversations that I think are critical. 5 conversations that we've got to make sure we're initiating, okay? And on the website, we have questions you can ask and everything. So go to the website and pick out, get all the information, okay? First one, what's the most important conversation do you think that a senior in the family, the senior patriarch and matriarch, what could they bring in that would matter?
Well, I'm thinking, I mean, there are so many, I'm sure, rich life experiences.
Yes. The first
maybe
one.
What we can learn from them or something. But
that's the first one. The very first is the who are we conversation. We need to sit with our grandparents and talk to them and say, and let them identify who are we? Who are the Townsends? Where do we come from? What is our history? This is our lineage. This is our genealogy. We grew up and we were from London, and we got on the ship and we came over here. Let them tell the stories of who we are. Let them lay the foundation. Okay, we have a neighbor who's 96 years old. His name is Ralph Smith, 96 and a half, I believe. He's the oldest resident in Draper, okay? And once a month, Ralph Smith gets to come visit us, and he sits down with my family once a month, and on this Sunday, we all are encaptured and in love and enthralled with the stories of Ralph Smith growing up in Draper. And he tells the stories where he could see the Capitol from Draper. And my kids are just enamored with this man as he's laying down the foundation of who we are. That's the role of grandparents. And he's not even our grandparent. We've adopted him. He's now our grandparent. But that's what we need to be asking. That's the who are we conversation, okay? Second conversation we need to be having is the who are you conversation. That's the one where when we're sitting with Grandma and Grandpa, we're asking, who are you? And we're trying to figure out who they were. Grandma, what was your favorite color growing up? What was your favorite dress? What was your favorite outfit? Grandpa, where did you play ball? What were your hobbies? What were your hideouts? What were your biggest fears? Where were your insecurities? This is where we want to ask them about their wedding. This is where you might want to get out their engagement pictures and photos if they have them, and see who Grandma and Grandpa were when they were younger. Find out what they looked like.
I think this is so crucial to forming that connection. So I didn't realize until after my grandma had passed away. She was so good, because conversations go 2 ways.
That's right.
She was so good at sharing these details of what she loved and what she did. And when she passed away, I realized I knew her so well.
That's it.
And it was because she was so willing to give up those personal tidbits that maybe didn't seem like they meant something in the moment, but afterward they meant everything.
And that was probably natural for her. And so what we need to do is find a way to draw this out of them, because we want to make sure like that you know them as well as you know your best friend. You know much more details about your friends because they're on Facebook giving you all the stupid facts. We need to get that same information from Grandma and Grandpa.
But so it's sometimes a challenge. I remember sitting down with my grandma and sort of asking her questions, and she sometimes felt awkward and didn't really know what to share.
That's
I mean, what do you...
So what I might do is I might, as the child of the grandparent, so as the parent who has the younger children, I might go to them and say, you know what, Grandma or Mom and Dad, you really need to teach these kids. They need to hear from you. We actually, Ralph Smith wants to tell his stories to us, so you might want to prime them a little bit and invite them to tell some more stories, and make sure that every time they come over for their monthly dinner that we're priming them, and then everybody wait for the story to come out, and kind of, it's hard, you have to prime them because some people just don't communicate that way. The next one, so like for example, that's a picture of my in-laws. My kids need to know about how they got engaged. My kids need to know about the fact that my father-in-law, my mother-in-law's father had to ask my father-in-law to ask him to marry my daughter.
What was
Does that make sense?
No, it doesn't.
It's a bad story, but I'm going to be in trouble for it. So basically, they had to be coaxed. The grandfather-in-law had to coax my father-in-law to not. He wanted to marry her, but we needed to do it quickly because
where's my grandpa when I need him?
Everybody needs a grandpa to get someone married. So the next one is the Who Am I story. The Who Am I story is this is where we got to get feedback from Grandma and Grandpa on who I am. That's where I want to find out what they think about me. That's what I want to find out. I want them to tell me how great I am. Tell me what they think about my world today. Have Grandma and Grandpa comment on the technology and what I'm going through. Have them comment, like the perfect example of this always happens at graduation when your kids are graduating and Grandma or Grandpa are there. They tell you how proud they are of you. That's a conversation that we need to be having over and over and over. This is my daughter Sarah and my mother, and that Sarah got all these accolades on the day of her graduation. We need that conversation to be going on and on and on, so our kids are getting this sense of who they are. They're not just a Townsend, they're not just from Draper, but they're special in their own unique ways. And I think grandmas and grandpas have a special gift of identifying what your greatness is.
But that's also probably one of those things you need to give them a little advanced warning on. Like, we're going to ask you to say something about Sarah.
That's exactly right.
So they know, have something in their mind ready
or
to
have
go.
them go last after everyone else is gone. The next one is probably my favorite, which is the what matters most question. If you have people that have lived 50, 60, 70, 80 years, they have insight and knowledge into what matters most in this world.
That's a big question.
This is the biggest question. Grandma, what is it after everything you've learned after 80 years, what is it that really matters most? And then I'd hush the children and I'd turn everyone to her. And she'll probably give you a simple answer first. And then prime her a little bit, and she'll probably give you deeper answers. A beautiful example of this happened, we just had a family reunion, and somebody had made a memory book for my in-laws. And we were all gathered around, and they handed the book. You can see the pictures. They handed the book, and it just so impacted Grandma and Grandpa that you knew exactly what mattered most. What mattered most was 20 kids gathered around, and the book was all about those 20 kids. That's the what matters most question. And that's the question that we have to be asking. Because they need to know kids matter. They need to know family matters. They need to know honest and integrity matters. If that question is not being asked, and if we're not creating space for it to happen, we're in trouble. The last one, fifth one, is Grandma and Grandpa. This is the what do you need us to know? This is a powerful question too. What do you need us to know, Grandpa? At the end, before they ever leave, I'd always shut everyone down and say, Grandpa, Grandma, before you leave, is there anything you need us all to know? And give them the floor. One time that happened, I had a grandfather-in-law that was dying, and I just kind of happened to ask in a roundabout way, what do you need us to know? And he said, it was the coolest thing, he said, all I need you to know is I don't want you to forget me. Don't forget me. And so we haven't. But we would have. I mean, I don't know if we would have, but we now know he doesn't want to be forgotten. So every time we pass the cemetery and go by his grave, just driving by it on the way to the other in-laws' house, we all say, hi, Gigi and GP, which is hi, Grandma and Grandpa. We never forget him, okay? Every day, grandparents, you need to be in charge of this too. Make sure you're having these conversations. This just isn't the kids driving it. Parents, grandparents, you need to drive it down. Make sure you're telling your kids what's most important, because if they don't know, and if they don't know what's on your mind, how could we really serve you and love you the way we need to?
Thanks for choking us all up here today.
Sorry about that.
No, really good stuff.
I think it's because I had a kidney stone.
We'll let you know that Matt, of course, has great information on the website, including questions that you can ask to prompt these conversations. And you've got a big workshop coming up.
Smart Life for Women. women, you got to go to these. This is tons of fun. It's just for the ladies, so guys, stay away. It's every Thursday, 1 to 2:30. Cost is $15, but we talk about different issues. Right now, we're talking about how to impact your relationship by yourself and make a difference. It's tons of fun.
Ladies, you want to go. The perfect girls' day out. So, Matt,
Awesome.
thank you.
Thanks, kids.